Hello and welcome to Conscious TV. My name is Renate McNay. Today in the studio with me is O Keeffe. Hello, Jack.
Hi, Renate.
Jack is here from Ireland, and Jack wrote this wonderful book, Born to be Free, and the subtitle is The Freedom You Look For is Where You Look From.
Probably shouldn't have written the book at all, actually. That's enough.
I guess 89 or 99% of humans live in prison in their mind. And yeah, we are all born to be free, but how can we become free? How can we live? How can we get out of the prison?
And I suppose maybe of that 98%, maybe 80% of them don't know they're in prison, and that's fine.
No.
That's fine.
Yes.
But when it comes to that maturity of seeing that my mind is the problem, how I think is not okay, in some way it's causing suffering. When that is seen, okay, then this path, this search towards that which is beyond, yearning to find out what is it all about, that begins. For some it stops again, but for most it just continues with an emergency.
So how was it for you, Jack?
Yeah.
How did it all start? I mean, I just laughed when I spoke to you 2 days ago, to just connect.
Yeah.
And you said, I am a farmer's daughter. I am down to earth. I just laughed at
Yeah, personality
So,
just continues to
From
the
a
form.
farmer's daughter, how did you start this amazing journey?
I don't know, I suppose, like almost everybody,
Yeah.
as a small child, you know something, but you don't know what you know.
Yes.
But there's some clarity there that tends to be, filed down and honed down, and eventually it disappears for most.
Yeah.
And a forgetting takes place, a forgetting of some inner wisdom. And gosh, I don't know. I remember being young. I'd say I was about 7 or 8, and I was in the bathroom, and I was going into the bath, and I saw myself in this little cotton interlocking vests, that they had 35 years ago, and seeing myself in this vest and looking and saying, "What are you doing in this body? What's that? What's that body?" And just, what am I going to do with this? Oh,
Right.
I have to wait until I get older.
Oh, really?
I just have to wait until I get older. Okay, then something will change, but I have to wait till I get older.
How interesting.
Yeah, so in that just 2 minutes of just a seeing of, there was something remembered, or something was being parked perhaps.
Yes. Yes.
Put in a place of there's something not quite aligned up here, but patience. And so patience was developed. There was a sense of, I'm just going to have to wait. I'm just going to have to wait. So when I left home and went to university, I started with psychotherapy to find out, okay, the way I think is not okay, because I think differently to other people.
Yeah.
And so I have to understand how I think.
Yes. Yes.
And also in university, I did theology in order to find out more about God. But sure, it was Catholicism.
That's the worst place to find it out.
Totally. So I came out an atheist, of course, after 3 months studying. In the
Sure.
middle of first year, was like, well, if this is God, that's a load of rubbish anyway, sure.
Well, I was raised in a Catholic school with nuns.
Yeah,
I had exactly the same
Oh, I did the
experience.
Catholic boarding school thing too, yeah. Totally, and, it's just so far from the search for truth.
Yeah.
It keeps certain things alive, but there's such interpretations on top that I couldn't find the truth within it. I couldn't.
Yes.
So, abandoning everything.
Yeah.
But a lot of psychotherapy certainly helped to become the manager of my mind at the time.
Yes.
And that shift was necessary.
Right.
To be able to see thoughts, to be able to see the link between thought and an emotional reaction.
Yes.
To be able to have the option and the distance of not reacting.
Yes.
And that started. But from the psychotherapy point of view, you know, of having that hour every week of just unpacking the I, you know. And from that, one arrives at a place of wholeness. It's like, do you know, I'm okay, actually. I'm okay. I survived it somehow. And I love myself, and it's all right.
You started liking yourself?
Yeah, of course. And you end up thinking, of course, it's much easier. And you tend to be okay about life, and okay that you know, with the world.
Yes, yeah.
And then it doesn't last very long.
No.
But there's more. And what else is there? And this isn't enough still. So everything you've built up begins to fall apart. So much for the big investment, you know. It starts to fall apart, doesn't it?
So, I was reading in your story one day you had dinner with your friends or lunch.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden the room was full of ghosts.
Yeah. In the phenomenal world, that's a very scary thing.
Yes.
And I was petrified.
Yes.
And it was ambit full of horror, you know. It was.
Did they know they were dead, or did they?
I thought I was tripping, of course. I thought it was, you know, that somebody had given me something hallucinogenic.
Yeah, but these ghosts you were seeing, were they dead, or were they?
Oh yeah, they were Caspers, you know. You're full on.
Did they know if they were dead? Because I did the same thing. And people were running around in my room, and it appeared they didn't know that they were dead.
Yes, some do and some don't. They're not at one with whatever state. It's just a place of transition for mind also. I ran out of the house. I did everything I knew how to do. Epsom salt baths, shouting and roaring, running. I mean, anything, you know, to try and make it stop. And it didn't stop. And it was horrific. I was petrified.
Did they try to talk to you?
Was more having fun with me. My body would be physically pushed. You know, like there would be a wallop on my head, and I'd physically be thrown to the side and see that there was somebody behind me laughing. So I was.
It was more like a poltergeist.
Yes, oh indeed, quite unhappy spirit forms, I guess. Really, just clumps of energy that have independent thoughts running. That's all. You know.
They wanted your body, I guess.
Who knows? Who knows? It was just something. I suppose at the time, a big wake-up call was needed if you know, for things to take this big 180-degree turn. And well, this worked, you know. It got my attention. For sure it got my attention.
Yes.
I don't know if there's any other reason for it. There's no reason for anything really. But in the phenomenal world, we put reasons on things. And for sure, it was a very effective wake-up call. For sure.
And then for some time, you were a ghostbuster.
Yeah. Then the real work started, I suppose, to break that which I had built up, that which I had repaired. It started to break. So the last thing, of course, was to do something that I considered to be flaky or not serious, or and sure, ghostbusting, you know. And I knew I had to call it ghostbusting. It's like, no, do it. Just call it ghostbusting and do this and see what happens. And so from that, I suppose the more you use a clairvoyancy scale, that sixth sense, the more it expands.
Sure.
And the thin veil between the physical and the non-physical just disappears totally.
Yes.
So there's information all the time, and there's chakra systems walking by instead of people on the street, and it gets a bit nuts. So I got totally into that world. And it became my work, it became everything.
So you worked also as a healer for some time?
Yeah, I used to call it energy work, because who knows what happened. But sure, hands would move and things would happen and stories would appear, and I would tell what I saw. But at the same time, I knew I'm doing this as service. All I can do is do this work as a service. And there was a sense of the state of mind that is present when I'm doing this work.
Yes.
Bring my work home. Bring that state of mind into my life. Right. And that was the value in it for me.
Yes.